So, not one to usually do this, so bear with me, as I'm sure it probably will not turn out as great as I had hoped it to be. So, let's hope for the best. I'm Amberly. My husband is Jason, and we struggle with infertility. I have PCOS, and that's polycystic ovarian syndrome for those that don't know what it is. Pretty much my ovaries do not function, so they have eggs, they just don't grow to a mature state to release an egg, so it makes it very difficult for one to get pregnant. I've known this since I was 16 years old, and back then it was carefree teenager, doesn't make a difference. Not until you get married and you have this whole thing that first come love, then come marriage, and then comes a baby carriage. Well, that baby carriage isn't always so easily accessible to make a family. It's really, it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. We have been trying for 8 years to have a family, and more recently have decided to take the next step into aggressively starting a family with assistance in a fertility clinic. We recently just did a cycle of letrozole and estrus, and which is kind of like Clomid if anyone's familiar with it. We had our 14-day scan, and it came back that the medicine didn't work. Sorry. And no follicles were at the correct size to proceed with the cycle of IUI, which is intrauterine insemination. So it was kind of devastating, just a little bit, but it wasn't an easy road to get there in the first place. It's not like money grows on trees. Sorry. And we did a lot of fundraising, yard sales, started a GoFundMe page, which wasn't as successful as I was hoping it would be. It took a lot to get there, and for it to not work was even more devastating. It's a really big pill to swallow, that after all that hard work and sacrifices made, items sold, to get to the point that we can actually have hope that it would be successful, and for it to not be successful was not what I was hoping for. Yeah. Sorry. So now we're being told that, well, first we were told that by the first doctor when we visited that we could do 3 rounds of letrozole with IUI, which is intrauterine insemination, and if that didn't work, that we would move into doing IUI with FSH injections, and if that didn't work, that we would do IVF, which is in vitro fertilization. All are very expensive. I am actually one of the very few blessed ones that bit the bullet and has HMO insurance. I pay a lot of money for the insurance that I have just for the 50% coverage for infertility, which covers a big chunk of it, yes, but there's still a lot of out-of-pocket costs that are somewhat not always feasible, which really, really frustrates me for couples like Jason and I who really, really want a family, but can't afford to take the steps that we need to take to have that family, or make that family, or grow our family. It's really, really, really frustrating and disheartening that they make it sound so easy, and that the procedure is just one and done, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but you have to pay out the ass for it. So, really sucks. So the next step for us to do is IUI with FSH injections, which for the first consultation appointment we had to pay $200. We were told that the cost of the procedure itself for one cycle of IUI with the letrozole medication, which induces ovulation for specifically for women with PCOS, without insurance, it's about $2,000. So it took us a while to reach that goal, and I was very blessed with help of my closest friends, and doing a yard sale was the most successful and beyond that I could ever imagine, in raising, I call it luck, being blessed, I don't know. I'm just thankful that it happened, and we were able to afford to pay that whole cycle, but it took us 8 months to get there. So we had our consultation in October, and here we are in June, or May, I should say, and just now being able to do our first cycle because we weren't able to do what we needed to do, or to come up with the funds to be able to do it immediately after the consultation. So, and here we are now, first cycle in, and wasn't successful. So my hopes were shot down. I know I can't give up hope, but when you're told by the doctor that you should have no problem, the medicine should work great for you, being that your A reserve is there, everything's there, we just need to get him to function, for it to not work. I don't even know. What does one say? I mean, your hopes are high at the beginning. You go through the side effects of the horrible hormone headaches, feeling like crap, nauseous all the time. It's like symptoms of early pregnancy, but yet it didn't work, so you're not pregnant. Just the medication playing a trick on you. When we went in on the Saturday for the 14-day checkup, he did the ultrasound, said no follicles on either side. He was ready to jump to the next step, but I was trying to explain to him on the cycles that I had before, because I've had 7 rounds of Clomid, that typically I don't ovulate till cycle day 18 to 21, and asked him if it was possible that any follicles could have grown by cycle day 18 instead of 14, because it was fairly early for me. He pretty much said to make me happy that he will schedule me an appointment on cycle day 18, which is Wednesday, but he feels that moving to the next step would be best. So to appease me, I have an appointment on Wednesday. Not sure what to expect. Actually, I know what to expect. Expect my follicles not to have grown and to be the same size, and that just shelling out $1,600, including medication and vitamins and supplements, and to pay for an IUI that was never done, for a cycle to fail, was it's hard to swallow because that's a lot of money to put out with having pretty much all your balls in one net and not for it to work. It means your basket on your side is empty and theirs is full. They got what they wanted, which was the money. So I don't even know. I guess I'm creating this video to kind of vent to myself because it's hard to talk to friends that don't understand what you're going through, or family members want to be supportive but really their main concern is, oh, are you pregnant? When are you going to be pregnant? Did it work? Like, no, sorry, it didn't. Like, oh, well, don't lose hope. Okay, well, when you've been trying for 8 years and you've done medicated cycles and you just did your first medicated cycle through an actual fertility clinic that knows what they're doing, it's kind of hard not to lose hope when it doesn't work. I'm sorry. Yeah, it just... What do you say? You just have to smile and push on. So, I guess for the ladies or women, couples out there that are struggling with infertility, you're not alone. It's okay to cry. Reach out to people that you trust and won't make judgments or criticize you or give you advice, because we all know that advice, they relax or stop trying, or if you just give up, it'll happen. I had a friend that has been trying for however many years, and just one day they just gave up and the next day they were pregnant. It doesn't work that way. Trust me. Been there, done that. Maybe I didn't give up hard enough, but it did not work. So, pray, I guess. Do yoga, acupuncture, I don't know. Do what makes you feel comfortable and what makes you happy. Talk often, whether it's to yourself, to your spouse, to a friend. But also, you don't have to listen to what your friends or family say. If it's hurtful, tell them. Don't hold it in. I've learned that lesson. I know that they're trying to be helpful, but sometimes their helpful advice is more hurtful, and I've had to set boundaries with several people. It's not okay, and you shouldn't have to accept it, and infertility should not be a taboo subject. It happens to several couples, more than you think. It's probably at least 10 of your friends, I could tell you probably at least 2 or 3 of them are struggling trying to get pregnant. But they're not open about it, because who wants to talk about that? Well, I do, because I want to raise awareness.